All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. We got Richie joining us here. Um, I will retweet the stream, and we will leave this open. We'll go through some games and see what we come out with on the post-game show. Let me get this retweeted. All right, Rich. So there we go. Also, if you can do us the biggest favor, hit the like and subscribe button and help us grow this show. And Missouri has now missed the field goal. I'm just killing you, ain't I?
Well, no, I just saw it.
Missouri misses the field goal. I also have a ton of press conferences to watch today. I guess we will sum up this week.
Drink.
Gotta be pissed. We will sum up this week. The college football week started on Tuesday. Let's go with another hashtag so I can get the stream populated. I wonder what the top hashtag is. All right, there is that. Maybe that'll bring us some fine folks. Also, the number 2. Ooh, that's interesting. But never mind me, Rich. I'm a little distracted. But the number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. Got a lot. I guess we'll start and we will kick this thing off with Tuesday. New Mexico State Liberty was a barn burner field goal game. 1 point game. Ark State, South Alabama, Florida International, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Missouri or Delaware, UTEP. Sam Houston goes to 0-7. Utah right now pulls within a field goal with 1:24 left. Neither team has any timeouts left. Auburn, Missouri in overtime. Stanford, Florida State 10-3. I got that on TV1. I need to actually adjust it. Lafayette, Oregon State 10-10. Nevada, New Mexico. So those are the games that I have live. And then TV2 goes down to a 3-box. So, but anyway, Thursday night was East Carolina, Tulsa. After Tulsa getting the big victory against Oklahoma State earlier in the season. So there's that. Stanford playing inspired right now. If they pull this off, it's going to get loud in Tallahassee, right?
Yes. It'll get real loud.
Does it get louder in Tallahassee, or is it louder on the plains in Auburn for Hugh Freeze?
I think Florida State.
You think Florida State, it gets louder?
Yeah, I mean, 2 consecutive years with, the record that they've had. I mean, they've won what, 5 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
No, well, they haven't won a conference game in over.
3 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because they won undefeated in, was it 23? Yeah, 23.
Yeah, since they went undefeated, it's been tough sledding. But anyway, I guess we'll start with Friday, the big matchups. We'll basically do Big Ten, ACC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12-ish for what's pertinent here, but not plum. So we start Friday. Miami goes down. Carson Beck. That's where we're at.
Paying that quarterback $3 million to throw 4 interceptions in a big game.
Here, I'll send you in the private chat of what he's really getting paid. And this is a real number.
Yeah.
Just put $1 million on the end of it. With everything that he got. Everything that he got. That's what his deal was worth.
Well,
So
is he still dating that Cavender twin?
no.
No.
After she trashed him before the season, but there's that. I know that was my thing. That's the way I looked at it. But yeah, also we'll recap it. The number to call 260-255-4069 is the number to call and get your call in. We'll leave this show up for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending. See what Auburn, if Auburn loses, it is going to be not a good time on the plains for Hugh Freeze and the Tigers. Do you think they fire him after the game?
If they lose?
Yes.
Is it if they win? No. If they win, they'll keep him.
And then they'll just fire him at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just furiously quote tweeting with hashtags real quick. See if we can get some interaction, get it into the ether. Get it off the proverbial ground. New Mexico and Nevada are going to halftime. It's a field storming, and the Stormin' Mormons have
They take the Holy War in Utah.
Yeah, there is a ton of sober people there. They are
8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock over there, almost.
What is it? 11:30 our time.
Yeah.
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah, I believe part of Utah is on Mountain Time. Yeah, that's going to be a huge party. Oh, nice. It turned TV2 off. Awesome. I love it. I love this. But anyway, number to call 260-255-4069. Number to call.
Second and goal, Mizzou. They will offset I. Nothing.
A whole lot of nothing. Uh-oh. Can't have the volume on. Sorry, folks. Looks like Missouri has punched it in.
Oh.
So Missouri punches it in. there is that. We are. So Auburn's got a score or it's over.
There you go. Yeah.
Steak nuggets. Yeah, that's not on the menu for me.
Probably cooked rat.
Nebraska goes down at Minnesota.
They rode the boat. They rode the boat.
So Nebraska down at Minnesota. We got also Belichick, North Carolina. There's that. I would say Chapel Bill's done, right? After this year.
Yeah, I think
It's
that was
over.
it was a one-time experiment. One and done for Bill.
Yeah, that's over. Florida State needs a touchdown.
What do you think caused all that? Like, why? I see it's his first year. I mean, I get it's his first year, different game, different type of thing compared to the pros. But what do you think ultimately contributed to like how everything's going down in UNC?
I think what contributed to what went down at UNC, I think the majority of why it is a crapshoot is because he completely bust-turned and overturned the roster when he didn't need to. He brought in 70 new guys.
They're not going to mesh well if you bring in basically a whole freaking new team.
Well, the thing of it is that I'm not saying evaluating players is different, but the college game isn't as good. Well, it's not that it's not as good, it's just different.
Yeah.
Because some of the things you can get away with in the NFL, you can completely, the day of the game, take a game plan out and put a brand new game plan in, and the guys are going to be able to execute it because some of them, if they played with multiple teams, they would have played in a 3-4, 4-3 hybrid. Oh no, that's a hell of a punt return. Stanford also wearing throwback unis tonight as well. With the little S.
I did notice that.
Okay. All right. Let's get to some of the brass tacks here. UCLA sneaks one out against Maryland. Don't know. The Jerry Neuheisel winning streak continues.
Next hire?
I would think somebody will probably take a chance on it. We have some confusion going on in the Auburn game. The game is over. Hugh Freeze
done. You think?
Has lost. Do I think they fire him?
Yeah.
Here's the problem. If this is going to be the vicious cycle with Hugh Freeze, okay? I'm just going to tell you how it's going to go. Hugh Freeze, let's say they fire him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get a group of 5 head job. Because you got to think there's already 8 vacancies.
Yeah.
And it's not even Black Monday for college football.
No.
So
Week 8.
PI in the end zone. Yeah, that's on the goal line. You can blame a lot of things on Auburn's season. They've gotten jobbed twice by the officials. Do they win the Georgia game if he scores that touchdown? We won't know. Do they win the Oklahoma game? I don't know. If you don't miss 3 field goals tonight, do you win this game? Probably. So you have that as an element. I don't think the Auburn people are going to deal with it well. I'm also looking at, because he'll get a group of 5 job, and in 2 years he'll be winning 10 games, and somebody else will take a chance.
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
So I think he's got one more cycle of that, and if it doesn't go well, I think he's done. Now, will he take a coordinator job? Highly doubt it. I don't think that's gonna. Don't think.
How bad is that Bama loss to Florida State?
If they lose, if Florida State loses tonight, really bad. But I still, the 4 best teams that I've seen all year are Indiana, Ohio State, Miami, barring last night in Alabama. I think I got to change my multi-view. I think the issue you have is I don't know where the bottom falls out on the other 8 teams, as I should say. I don't know where the bottom will fall out, because you got a bunch of meh in there, and Stanford's starting quarterbacks out, so that's probably a good thing for Florida State. As we're getting into this, we will go. Penn State loses another game. That's what, 4-0 or 0-4.
0-4 starting out. They're on. Yeah, right.
Win 3,
they started out
4.
Last 4, yeah.
So Iowa gets the win. Iowa's a fringe playoff team. Maybe if they went out, they could get in the mix. Oh, wow. Florida State, you got to tackle, bub. Florida escapes death. Got you, Rich. Florida escapes death on the last second turnover by Blake Shapen. So there's that. They beat Mississippi State by 2. Also, the phone lines are open. Number to call, 260-255-4069, as Stanford lines up for a field goal. And it's as good as gold. So there's that. Amen. UCLA on the rise. Penn State dropping like a rock. Interested to see what Ohio State does with Penn State coming off a bye. Probably a rinse and repeat of what Wisconsin was.
I'll be going to that game.
You're going to Penn State, Ohio State?
Yeah, we're going to Penn State. Yeah, I told my dad. I said, That's going to be a top 5 matchup coming around that time. Lo and be, little did I know.
Mm. Al has the world turns. Also, Eamon terrified at the idea of James Franklin to Michigan. Could you imagine how obnoxious that would be?
Oh, it'd be, so yeah.
Wouldn't that be something if Franklin went there just to call ball plays? Be the OC?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be insufferable. Uh SMU on top of Clemson, they're done. Best that Dabo can do is 8-4.
Yeah.
As I'm scrolling through quick, Houston, I did get a nice little cash on the ticket today. Houston over 5.5 wins. Your boy had a future ticket on that.
There you go.
Ooh, that's a nice little thing that we hit. The bet of the day was Georgia Alabama money line parlay. 250 to win 439. So there is that. Your boy's also happy about that. Bill O'Brien 1-6 at BC. Don't know how if there's going to be noise there.
Hey, an idea just popped in my head. What if Bill O'Brien comes back to Penn State?
I don't think they'd hire him back.
You don't think they'd hire him back?
No. He's 1-6. The whole 3 years to get the whole thing about Knowles' defense gets more and more perplexing the more I watch a Patricia defense after 6 games. Yeah, that's a pretty big indictment on
Yeah. I mean, our Real Reese has been playing lights out.
So did CJ Hicks enter the transfer portal?
No, I heard they redshirted him, but I don't know if that could lead something to the portal for when's that first portal open after the first of the new year?
The 2nd through the 16th, it's open for 14 days. What do you think about Tony Elliott in no way they want it that way? Dude. Washington won, or Virginia won their game on a safety today.
Wow.
That's impressive. Here's the other thing. Michigan takes the West Coast Dogs 24-7. I still got to see more out of that team. I watched Michigan one time. They made it to
what concerns me for that game at the end of November is their 2 running backs, that 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me. How can Matt Patricia scheme up a defensive game plan for that game?
I'm not worried about what they're going to do for Ohio State against Michigan on defense. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what they would do on offense because we watched that Rocky Mountain horror picture last year.
Yeah. Will he go too conservative?
Yeah. Also, another note: UAB getting the fired coach bump. Eamon says the same thing. He's worried the offense will butt pucker. Also, the call-in number 260-255-4069 if you want to get your call in. And also, if you can do us the biggest favor, hit the like and subscribe button. But UAB over Memphis, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoff now with one loss. Sorry to say it. Texas escapes death at Kentucky. Also, I think it's fascinating. Kentucky has turf, and they are the bluegrass state. Just saying. Memphis, or not Memphis, but Oklahoma blows out South Carolina. I think they're on full-on quit watch. Virginia Tech moves to 7-0. No shock there. Vandy over the Bayou Bengals.
That seat in Baton Rouge is boiling right now.
Mm-hmm. Because LSU goes to 5-2. And we'll cheat real quick and we'll go down their schedule if you got time.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I got it right here. They got to go. They got A&M coming to town, and then they have to go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Brian Kelly.
Not looking good. And they end it with Oklahoma. Also, Amon. I don't think that's going to be a trap game. I think the Michigan game is going to be a trap game for Ryan Day. So there's that. Oregon rolls Greg Schiano, the once great Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach.
Ran that team into the ground.
Brian Kelly is the James Franklin of the SEC. Well, I would
not disagree.
Yeah, that is true. We got a couple more matchups here. Texas Tech falls at
Texas Tech, man. What happened?
I mean, they got the best roster money can buy.
Exactly. What happened?
Playing at Arizona State, and it's not like that's like a clear cross country road trip for like what Florida State had to deal with this week. Or Washington.
Yeah. Oh, Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan going out to
Washington.
No, where did they go? Where did Michigan go?
Seattle.
No, that game was at Michigan this year.
Oh, I'm thinking last year.
What? Michigan? They played. Who'd they play? USC?
Last week they did, yeah.
Yeah, they played USC, traveled across the country. Tennessee. Did Tennessee get blown out?
I think they got out physical.
They're showing.
Yeah, I mean, when it's second, was it third and goal, second and goal with 6 seconds left? You got to take those points, dude. I don't think they had a great offensive game plan.
I think they had success on offense, but I don't think they strung enough plays together.
But the other, I don't think they had enough. They didn't have enough firepower. I mean, they got a couple big plays here and there, not like how Bama was.
Yeah, that is true. Bama did hit a lot of explosives tonight. Tennessee lost more than all Alabama won. That's a way to look at it. As we move on, Ole Miss falls. Give up 17 second half points and do not score in the fourth quarter. I think the Trinidad Chambliss train was coming to an end no matter what. They kind of made Gunnar Stockton beat them, but Chambliss 19 of 36 for 263. Ole Miss didn't run the ball particularly well, 24 carries for 88 yards, where Georgia, did what Georgia does. So there's that. Hog Time and Bobby Petrino. They fall again by another field goal. I think they're going to. All right. I got you, Richard.
Ooh, all right, everybody. Take care.
All right. We'll see you, Rich. Richie had to run, but as we go down, I guess I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. But the number to call 260-255-4069. Yeah, Bobby Petrino loses by another field goal. I think Arkansas is going to mess around and give him that job. I really do, because I think he'll show enough of proof of concept. UCLA, Vandy, Notre Dame are all fun to watch. Yes, that is true. And then Indiana rolls Michigan State today. Ohio State crushes Wisconsin. I guess the only thing it leads me to believe is Fickle going to get his walking papers tomorrow? I don't know, but as my predictor, when I do predictions, I know you could pretty much write them on a piece of paper and tear them up, but I think that the Fickle thing, I guess we'll get into that. We'll get into the Fickle stuff. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one, Eamon. So just listen to the stretch of losses. They lost to Alabama, Maryland, Michigan, Iowa, and then they have Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. That is not a fun matchup, to say the least. That's not a fun stretch. Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. So might be staring 2-10 in the face. Haven't scored since October 4th. I didn't look that deep into it, but that is not good. That is not good at all. But yeah, that's pretty much the day summed up. Outside of Tech losing, LSU losing, I guess BYU gets the win over Utah, so they're going to move up. Auburn drops to 3-4. It's kind of what it is. South Florida rolls. So there's that. Cincinnati blows Oklahoma out. Oklahoma State, I mean. TCU over Baylor. Tulane squeaks one out against Army. And West Virginia gets blown out. Hate to see that for Rich Rod. And as we're looking at it right now, I wouldn't say Florida State is against the ropes at the moment, but they are down. So it's going to be an interesting. I think the next 2 weeks, I think we'll be able to shake out who the playoff teams are pretty much going to be. They'll get them down to, like, when the whole year starts, it's everybody's got a chance. And then as the weeks go on, they whittle themselves down. But I think the teams that are on stress alert are John Gruden going to be somewhere? I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know on the Gruden stuff is because look at how well it's going at North Carolina. There's no way these schools aren't looking at him. Oh, I think they're looking at him. But how did they call that a touchdown? Okay. Well, I guess that's that. But I don't know. I look at the Gruden stuff as very fascinating. I don't know. I hate to be that guy, but I'm looking at it as if I was. I know Patricia isn't head coach, but he's working out well. See, I think when it comes, I think defensive guys that come from the NFL have more success than offensive guys that come to the NFL. So there's that. Also, I'm going to leave the phone lines open for about 10 more minutes, maybe 5 minutes. We'll cut it off at a 40-minute show, even though I went light on the streaming today. I had some stuff I had to do. The number to call, 260-255-4069. If you want to call, get your call in now. But yeah, that's, I don't know. The Gruden thing would make me nervous. Just saying. Also, Auburn message boards. With Hugh, gotta believe better days are coming for this poor program. Enough is enough. Guys, it's time to change. Bobby Petrino, Franklin, who cares? I don't know if I'd hire Bobby, but absolutely glorious. 0-4 to start SEC play for 3 straight years is unacceptable. I don't care. I don't care about what ifs of the previous games and the officiating. So Hugh Freeze getting the boots down there in Auburn. We're just looking. I'm just kind of scrolling. Alabama and DeBoer beating 4 ranked teams in a row. Yeah, USC fans also melting down, but there's that. Anyway, Heartline gets plucked. That's fascinating. I think when it comes to Heartline, he would have to be high on the list. And the reason why I say that is because he's at the premier program in the country. I think that Heartline is somebody that, could he run a program? He's calling offense for the first time this year. I think that if you wanted to get down to brass tacks with the Heartline stuff, I think if he brought in a good defensive coordinator and a good OC, I think he could be successful because he knows how to recruit. Now, as far as building a roster and making the tough decisions, as far as like some of the decisions that Ryan Day's had to make, I don't know what his experience would be on that. It's different when you sit in the big chair opposed to being a coordinator. I mean, look at James Franklin. I mean, he made it to you can say what you want. I mean, he had a couple of bad losses, but he wasn't completely cratering. Do I think that they win the game today if he's the head coach? Absolutely. And they probably take another loss and they would end up 8-4 or 7-5. But realistically, if you want to get into brass tacks when it comes to the Penn State stuff, I don't know how you can argue it, because Penn State has struggled to out recruit Ohio State. If you're Penn State, Do you shove all your chips in the table and go hire Brian Hartline? That's what I would do if I was Penn State. I don't think it would make Ryan Day real happy. Let's do a hypothetical when Ryan Day goes to the NFL. Who's running the ship at Ohio State? That's a good question. If Ryan Day went to the NFL, which I don't think that's off the table. I don't think it's off the table at all. Now, let's say Day goes to the NFL. I think he takes Patricia with him. Hartline will probably stay at Ohio State. I think that you hire Alex Golish if you're Ohio State. And people would scoff at that and say, well, that's not a name, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's remember, instead of revisionist history, does Freeman come home? I don't know if you could sell Freeman to the fan base. I don't think you could sell Freeman to the fan base. And I don't know if Freeman would come home. I really don't. That's just my opinion. Now, here's the question. I would hire Golish because Tressel came from Youngstown State, and I think Golish would come home. But I think Patricia would go with Day to the NFL. Because I think Matty P is going back to the NFL either this year or next year. If Ohio State wins it all, not Golish, but Patricia's going to get a big-time coordinator job in the NFL somewhere. But the problem is that you don't have Belichick as the hirer of youth. And you never know. New England's DC could move, and I think you'll end up with the same amount of cronies back in New England. I really believe that. I think Patricia will make his way back there when Vrabel gets a opening, and if it goes real bad at BC and BC decides they're going to move on from Bill O'Brien whenever that time is, I think Bill O'Brien ends up back at New England. So he wouldn't have to leave Massachusetts. Chestnut Hills to Foxborough, I don't think is that far. So there's that angle of it. Now I've heard a lot of grumblings that Matty P seems to be enjoying his college. He's done the NFL. I think he would be opening this. I think Patricia would be open. He would be open to staying. I think as long as they have an elite head coach. But if Day left to the NFL, the entire fan base would be clamoring for Eddie George, and I don't think that's a good idea. Not that I think Eddie George is bad. I think he needs way more time to do it. I think Ohio State will be willing to throw a bag at him. Yeah, probably. I was looking at the top 10 buyouts. Him being Patricia, yeah. I could see it. Could definitely see it. But I don't know. I think one of the funnier things is when they were bringing up speculation. I know this is supposed to be an SEC call-in show, but we're talking Big Ten right now. So, but all the speculation about who was going to take the Penn State job, and they were talking all the stuff about Urban Meyer going to Ohio State, or not Ohio State, Penn State. I think it was all cover because I think he's campaigning behind the scenes to get Dan Mullen the job, his crony from Florida. I think that's what he's doing, because Urban is known for that. He campaigned to get Ed Warner the Western Kentucky job so he didn't have to fire him. So I just feel like that is the option there. That's why Urban is probably getting linked, or the boosters are talking. And also, when it comes to booster talking, how great is that they were spinning Patricia, or not Patricia. Oh, Urban's he's not coming back because I don't think Shelley's going to let him. And plus, I think it would be a disaster. Now, the jobs that I think he would come back for, that she would okay, would be Texas or USC. I try not to bag on teams too much, but Oregon State looks like absolute dog shit. Or Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame would come open. I think Marcus is going to stay at Notre Dame. Oregon State, you guys look terrible. So, but yeah, I was speaking of booster talk. So, I'm just saying he'd go back for it. Yeah, I think those are 3 jobs. I think he would. Also, Eamon, if you want to call in, the phone line is open. The number to call is 260-255-4069 if you want to call in, so you don't have to be on camera. But as I'm thinking about boosters talking, I'd call, but I'm in bed. I got you, dog. Whenever I'm thinking on the booster talking, I think the big thing is you had Penn State floating all that stuff out there about Matt Rule. That's fair, but when it comes to the Matt Rule stuff, he had a big game on a Friday night, and the whole Penn State fan base got to see what that was against Minnesota. Would it be different at Penn State? Am I bagging on Matt Rule? No. But when you make a high-pressure decision like they did with James Franklin, and you don't know who's going to be the next coach, you have a problem. And it's a $50 million problem. And that's just like one of the other deals that they leaked the booster meeting with Scott Strickland because a bunch of boosters got up in arms and wanted to go fire Billy Napier. Could they have fired him today? I wouldn't say they could have fired him today, or tomorrow. But within 30 days of firing him, you have to pay him 10.5 million, and then you got to pay him 10.5 million opposed to the life of the contract. With Adidas, it's not as big of a problem at Penn State anymore. Well, in my opinion, hopefully nobody from Adidas ever watches this. The thing that I don't like that Adidas does is they take chances with uniforms. Like with teams that are bad, they'll start altering the uniforms. And I think the big dogs see that, like what they did with Tennessee. But I think Tennessee let them do whatever they wanted because they were paying the bills. Let's go to team stats real quick on LSU. LSU was at least 50% on third down. They were better. Still not great, but I haven't watched Kelly's. Nike takes chances too, but they look amazing. There are certain schools that you can mess with the uniforms and other schools you can't. I hate to say it, but at Ohio State, you can't change the jerseys. You can't alter them. You can wear the black ones. I mean, Nike took chances. Did I think it was cool that the few years Ohio State wore the throwbacks? The OG CFP uniforms were dope. Yeah. But do I think that it worked at some schools? Yes. I think that they had too much range, Adidas did with Mississippi State. And some of the stuff they're doing with A&M is better. It's not great, but it's better. Look at Oregon, yeah. Also, I have a lot of questions about A&M. Although I do get some A&M people that watch the show, I have questions about the border collie. I have a lot of questions about the dog. Because the dog is some type of rank in whatever they are. I don't know how you go to Midnight Yell and not think it's a cult. Just thinking out loud. I'm just saying. It sounds like a cult to me. Looks like a cult, sounds like a cult. It's got to be a cult, right? So there's that. Also, I think Georgia Tech is going to be a problem going forward. Purdue, if not massively funded by John Purdue, would be Indiana A&M. Also, Purdue is a cult too. They just hide it better, in my opinion. Which I'm surprised they got Barry Odom to go there. I think Arizona State's going to be a sleeping giant. If they can just get more funding, I think Arizona State will build a badass stadium in the desert. Purdue just waiting for basketball season? Yeah. I feel that. This Oregon State, their last couple sequences on offense, it looks like they should be playing that clown music or like Bird is the Word or something. It's got to be a tough. They just showed Fickle's face. I got to watch a bunch of press conferences tonight. But this Mendoza kid, I'm telling you, from Indiana, he is awesome. Oklahoma bounces back. They're going to move up in the polls. BYU is going to move up. Missouri, tough one. Virginia going to move up too. I'll be real interested to see. Fickle is aged 10 years and 10 weeks. Oh, yeah. The dude's stress level has to be through the roof. If Notre Dame has a run, let's just say this: if Notre Dame has a run, Fickle's either going to have to go to the MAC, which in this day and age, the MAC is kind of a death sentence, or if Cincinnati knows he's available, but I don't, unless who's the coach? Satterfield. If Satterfield gets an upgraded job because he's doing so well at Cincinnati, Cincinnati's been a big stepping stone job. Do you go down memory lane and hire Fickle back? Because he left you for Wisconsin. I get it. A lot of people's boosters don't jive with that. They really don't. They don't really like it. They don't like it. They get really emotional when coaches leave. Just like I have somebody that I follow said something about a university's coach looking at potentially leaving. Fickle, if he would have stayed at Cincinnati, he'd be going to Penn State. That's very interesting that you bring that up, Eamon. Do you think he would have lasted at Cincinnati? I don't know how good they would have been, but I think he would have kept the train rolling. But also, you don't know what the behind the scenes is on the Fickle stuff. Because the behind the scenes on the Fickle stuff is that they could have said, we got X amount of dollars for rev share, and they didn't commit the resources, and he can't really say anything because that makes him and the university look bad. And I've also seen where you could tell at this point, you can tell the fan bases and the universities that are committing dollars to rev share. Look at Texas Tech. They're obviously spending their ass off. Michigan, but it's not coming together exactly like they wanted it to. Auburn spending their ass off, and it's not going well, so they're pissed. Understandable. You're spending a lot of money. You're not getting your return. Now, let's say Venables, what are they? They're 6-1. So let's say Venables was 3-4. He'd get fired because of how many resources they're committing at Oklahoma. There's nobody committing resources at Oklahoma State. Or, case in point, the coaches that were good before rev share, before NIL, have cratered, like Mike Gundy, because he probably did not believe and invest in it. And for a little bit, Ohio State was behind in the NIL game, to be honest, because they were messing with cohesion and not the foundation. That was a whole Gene Smith thing. But from people that I have talked to, when it comes to the Gene Smith athletic director deal, is that Gene always thought that you would never pay. I believe Zach Smith put this out there, that Gene always believed in you would never pay a offense or defensive coordinator over $1 million. Him and Gordon Gee laughed about that and said that we'd never do it. Well, Brian Hartline's making like $2 million, and they got a national championship, and Knowles was making like north of 2.5. So it takes money to make money, in my opinion. But there's that. We have hit the hour mark. No calls, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing. But also, if you can do us the biggest favor, hit the like and subscribe button. And we will catch you guys on Monday. A little bit more analysis. I got press conferences to watch and all that fun stuff and doing some research. So, with that being said, everybody, please have a safe weekend, and we will catch you later. Have a good night, everybody.